any retro is an expression of like intergenerationalism, right? Like the moment a shoe comes back, you're in conversation with what happened before and what you're doing now. So I don't want to say old head, but someone who's like wearing the foams in 97 is in conversation with the kid who's buying the Galaxies Retro or the Supremes or whatever it is, right? Or the, I don't even know, like the Stranger Things joints. Yeah. They might not be saying the same things, but they're in conversation. And so that's like that is a interaction or
through line that like, you know, that goes through several different eras.
And it goes in everything in the world is like that. Sure. So we took that approach, and Nike let me swing big, man. You know, I told Nick, I was like, yo, like, I'm a swing, you know? And he was like, all right, cool. And we brought the deck back together. We showed them all the things we wanted to do, and everything that's in here is everything that was in the deck. Like,
what's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 260. I'm gonna say it's either 4 or 3. The only reason I'm confused is because I did a recording before this, and now I got to push that one back. And now because you are on the podcast,
so you give me like premiere.
Yeah, I give you premiere real estate.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, Jinx, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I've been like a fan of the show. I've seen like a couple of the episodes, seen a couple of the homies up here, so I'm here.
Look, man, that's such high praise. Like when we first met at Sango's show, like I remember texting Robbie and be like, "Yo, I got Jinx's number. Get him on the podcast."
I might have been cooked too. Like, who knows? Like that was a fun night. But yeah, and a lot of times too, I'm like super patient about what I do. I always want to see like who's on the show first, like if I want to be on the show, and also like I'm like back outside again a little bit. So I was like, all right, I knew when we did this space even early on, we had been talking. I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to like come and do this, you know? So.
I mean, like we could talk about it, but like I felt super honored that you're allowing me in the space, and let's tell people about the space a little bit because they only see in the back, but like if you are not familiar with like, you know, Jinx and Deepcuts, like let people know about you and the space as well.
Damn, I'm trying to think where I should start. I guess I could start with Deepcuts. Deepcuts has been a thing I've been like ideating for many years. It started back when I was like a complex, and then it was going to be a couple different things, but we always knew we kind of wanted to take on the lens of like editorial. And so editorial has a lot of faces. It might be a book, it might be a podcast, might be this kind of thing, conversations, it could be a space, but it's a way to like kind of discuss and surface subject matter. So it had been like a PDF, it had been a series of Zoom meetings, all these things, and it wasn't tangible. But then I got a call from my guy Nick at Nike. He's like a longtime friend. We used to work together at Complex. And he's really, to me, he's one of the most thoughtful people I've ever met. So we've always like aligned on like a level of depth or a level of thought and appreciation for things. So when this opportunity popped up, he was like, hey man, like we're opening up this new space. We want to talk about, we got some ideas for it, but we're thinking about trying to discuss foamposites. What do you think? And I was immediately like a yes. One, because, you know, the Deepcuts mission is to do stuff like this. And granted, also for the record, like Deepcuts is sight unseen to most people. Like there's a magazine buried in the tapestry here, but it does not exist publicly, or it didn't exist publicly. And Nick and them took a big gamble on me. Like now, you know, I cannot tell you how many times I've walked by and seen the Deepcuts logo on the glass, and like it feels phenomenal.
I mean, that's gotta be like,
bro, to go from like, like, yo, this is a deck to what this is fire. But
hold on, real quick though, like, what does it feel like? Because like it's seeing like a thought come to life, like seeing a tangible piece, like even from the first magazine, like what does that even feel like?
It's like 50-50. You're both like, you kind of flicker between like, wow, this is real. And the other part is you've thought about it so long and you're already on the next thing that this feels like just a step. So I'm constantly told to like be a little bit more present and be a little bit more like appreciative of what's happening in real time. So a couple times I'll just stare and look at this because I think it's fly. Right? Or stare and look at the space because I think it's cool. But I'm a tomorrow type dude. So I'm like always in that, and I'm trying to do better at wheeling back and being like, all right, like I'm here now. So it's 50-50.
You got to give yourself flowers. You got to be, because you got to be around to smell them, man. You know, I think we live in a world where, you know, I feel like it's being more present of like, you know, be here for the present so you can enjoy your present.
I'm not present, yo. I'm not, but I'm trying to get better at it. And I think the people who live like probably the most fulfilling lives are, I'm usually like somewhere back there and somewhere up here
Yeah.
to the point where I'll forget what happened sometimes, and people have to tell me.
Yeah.
There's a couple months I've been really present, but anyways, yeah. So he's like, yo, let's find a way to sort of discuss this shoe. And I think initially I came at it from a real Nike angle because I'm like a Nike super fan and a student of the brand. And he really pushed me and was like, yo, I want to talk like, we already do that well. Do the things that we can or haven't done.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, how do we talk about the things that if foamposites are, the planet, how do we talk about the things that, or the center? We want to talk about the things that orbit it.
Yeah.
So how do we get around? So that's, a mix of everything. It's ephemera, that's magazine clippings, that's, jerseys, that's, Sharpie markers, it's action figures, dolls, it's moving images.
Yeah. The ecosystem and the universe that's around it is something that would live through the fabric of sneaker culture, especially.
And all things that we actually do with them or enjoy about them, more than just buying a shoe. A shoe comes out as just an object. So how do we, but it's what we do with it. It's the way you lace them, what you wore with them today. What day you wore them, who's wearing them, what did you do while you were when you had them? Were you playing ball on them? Were you getting fly? What was going around in that world? What songs were playing at that time? What were people talking about?
Transporting people back to the moment, but
also bringing it to present day, right? Like,
I hope you've been enjoying this week's episode with Jinx. And of course, if you want to help out the podcast, please make sure to like, comment, and please share this with anybody that you think would enjoy this episode. And of course, if you are listening to this, please do not forget to leave a review, rate it 5 stars if you love it. Leave a dope review if you do. I will read it at the end of an episode. And if you're on Spotify, leave a comment because they don't do actual reviews. And of course, if you want to go the extra mile, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/myfirstkicks. $5 tier, just one tier so far right now. I have 2 Patreon exclusive episodes, one with Higher Living, Higher Learning, Higher Loving, Joe. We talk about Black footwear for him. And then I have another episode that just came out this past week with AD Sneaks. We talk about his book, getting crazy comments on his post and what it's like to be a teacher. And everybody thinks that, you're rich. Really good episodes that are only Patreon exclusives. So if you really want to check out more of this podcast, please hit up the Patreon. But of course, let's jump right back into the episode.
Any retro is an expression of like intergenerationalism, right? Like the moment a shoe comes back, you're in conversation with what happened before and what you're doing now. So I don't want to say old head, but someone who's like wearing the foams in 97 is in conversation with the kid who's buying the Galaxies Retro or the Supremes or whatever it is, right? Or the, I don't even know, like the Stranger Things joints.
Yeah.
They might not be saying the same things, but they're in conversation. And so that's like that is a interaction or
through line that that goes through several different eras.
And it goes, and everything in the world is like that.
Sure.
So we took that approach, and Nike let me swing big, man. I told Nick, I was like, yo, like, I'm a swing, and he was like, all right, cool. And we brought the deck back together. We showed them all the things we wanted to do, and everything that's in here is everything that was in the deck, like the programming ideas. We have a third component that we haven't really told anybody about yet, but the space, even the the visuals. One of my favorite pieces in here, just like being able to give this sort of collage culture to it. So it's been really cool, and it's almost unreal that like we hit every mark that we wanted to, minus like a couple small things. But yeah, man, I'm like, I would say it's probably the best thing I've ever worked on. It's one of the more collaborative things I've ever worked on, and I'm definitely like, if I'm being present, I'm extremely proud of this and thankful too. Like thankful for Nike, New York City squad, Game 7, like everybody who just like showed out.
You build something that is super, in my opinion, like iconic, and like
thank you, man.
Like this is something that, like, once you experience it, and we'll, at the end of this video, we'll definitely have a walkthrough about it. But like when you experience it, like it's something that it does transport you into the moments of like, I remember the first time I've held the Foamposite in my hand, right?
Yeah, yeah, same.
In high school, like everybody's talking about, oh, yo, eggplants are coming out, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I go to Foot Locker because I used to live next to one. This is the time when I was living in the Upper East Side, and so everybody got money, so they were just rocking it as soon as it came out. So like I go to Foot Locker, and this time I'm already a size 13. So I put it on. I'm like, let me get these, you know, I gotta be present. I gotta be, you know, up to date. I put them on, I look down. Nah, them joints look gigantic on me.
Yeah. First time I saw foams, I kind of didn't even understand them. It was a guy, I used to work at Foot Locker.
Yeah.
To this day, I'll tell people, like, even the scope of what I'm doing now, Foot Locker is the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, and this guy worked with named Park. And Park was like so far ahead on everything, sneakers, everything. Like, this is like, I'm wearing like Jordans, Air Forces, Timbs. Like, this is like the era of going up in Central Jersey.
Yeah.
And Park was into like SBs. He knew all the crazy runners, all the crazy Air Max, and foams, an expensive basketball shoe.
Yeah, yeah.
And he gifted me a pair that he had. It was the 2001 Pearls. He gifted me a pair. Man, I let them go. I like traded them at a kid at college. He kind of like tricked me. Like gave me like some, I was big in the low at the time.
Yeah.
He gave me like some polo. And it was so stupid because the polo he gave me was like vintage.
Yeah.
But you know, polo, like the next season they might
get that color. Yeah.
It's like in 2 years, the polo he gave me, they re-released. And yeah, man, I was sick. I let those go. And it was like the good pearl on it too. But that was my first pair. And I didn't really know how to wear them, you know, but I think that says it's a testament to like foams. Everyone's like, why do they work in every year? I'm like, because they're not from any year.
Yeah.
Like they're way out in the future.
For sure.
So if you're brave enough to wear them in 97, you're in the future. You wear them now, we're just starting to catch up to them, but then they drop like GT Futures and they like push the ball down the field again. You got to catch up. So,
man, I mean, look, it's an iconic shoe, but let's talk about, you got to answer the question. You're going to answer the question that I ask everybody each week. And that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
When people do this part, I've heard a couple where people went and then they got that shoe.
I've had a couple people that didn't get the shoe.
I feel like your first kicks is actually the shoe you can't get. My parents were not buying me expensive sneakers. Like I started having sneakers when I had a job. First job was like McDonald's.
Shout out McDonald's.
Maybe not, but you know.
Yo, look, shout out McDonald's fries. All right, that's my favorite fry.
Did you see the new report that dropped on them?
No, I'm not. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading.
Freak you out, man. It's not looking good. But yeah, man, was McDonald's and I started saving up money. So I do remember buying like I bought some Jordan 17s. I bought them. I'm a 12. I bought them in a 13 because I had to have them. Foolish mistake. They were so big,
gigantic.
Then they're the black low top, so they looked extra crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember like how the school was like, oh, he's in the game now. And actually, crazy enough, I wore it with a Magic jersey. It was swingman, but like I thought I crushed it. I think I had a headband with the swoosh upside down.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, but.
Go to school, pull up to school like that, bro?
Yeah, and then like I think like I probably had like a wristband on too, but they think it was Adidas, so I turned it inside out. Trying very hard, you know, to like make it work. But I remember that. I remember getting Jordan 8s, like the Chrome and the Bugs Bunnies, which is like my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm really glad they re-released those. But my first shoe memory where it cut through, where I was like, what am I looking at? Still remember the guy. We still cool on Facebook and everything. Desmond Bradley, a good friend of mine from when we were kids, and he had all the like right stuff. Like I want to say he had good puffers and stuff like that. He used to live right down the street from me, and we were in the same third grade class. I want to say, yeah, third grade. This is crazy in my memory. Miss Satterwhite's class, and
big fan. She's
yeah. Shout out Miss Satterwhite. And Desmond had the Griffies. Yeah. It's like 90s, right? So he had the Grippies. He had one of those like classic, I don't even know what you call them, but they're like the shirt that also has a hood. It's usually like some kind of pinstripe. The sleeves are like
the baseball
kind of baseball style shirt. It's very 90s. He had that and baggy jeans, and he had the King Griffies, the zebra joints. And I'm like, I just saw him. I was like, what are those? And like I remember he had that, and he had an X-Men action figure, and he had them all on the same day. And I was like, oh shit, like.
He's going crazy.
Yeah, he snapped. He went absolutely crazy. And I wanted the action figure. I wanted the sneakers, and I obviously never got them. But that's like the moment I woke up and was like, oh, there's sneakers. And then the big inspiration for me was always my sister. She always had great taste in sneakers. So later on, I ended up getting them. I'm in college, and they re-release them.
Yeah.
And some guy was like, I'm in the back of class at Morehouse. And there's another guy I was tapped in with. He was like, yo, you know the Griffies dropped. I'm like, what? He's like, where? He's like, at the West End. I'm like, when? He's like, this morning. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I went right before classes. I'm like, how'd you know? He's like, yo, I asked the guy and they told me they were coming out today. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, damn. And I'm sitting in class like, oh shit. So I like raised my hand. It's like an hour class. So I raised my hand. I'm like, yo, can I go to the bathroom? And she's like, yeah, you can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I leave class. I run down to the parking deck. I get in my car. I drive down to the mall. It's not that far, but it's like maybe a couple blocks away from the school. I drive down to the mall. I go in there. I buy the shoes. And then it didn't fit. I had to change my size, get back, drive back, get to the parking deck, get up to class and come back. And she's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And I didn't, she didn't know I went and bought sneakers, but I was like, yeah, my stomach hurts, But all because I saw Dez with those sneakers, who knows how, 14 years earlier. So
that's crazy.
But that was the moment I caught the sneaker bug.
In college, would you say, all right, so like, because I'm very curious of like when the sneaker culture, like the bug is different from, but like when did you find yourself within sneaker culture?
I mean, as soon as I got that job, because I've been staring at sneakers my whole life.
Yeah.
And then I started to have money of my own. I'm like, from that point on, it was like, Myers, Jordans, Tims.
Yeah.
Jordans and Tims and Forces.
Yeah.
I'm also like an Air Force mid apologist. Like, I'm like,
same.
Okay, bet. Yeah,
we on the same page.
Love that
Look,
shit.
I always say this. I always bring it up. Clark Kent killed it for us. Like Clark Kent.
Oh, because he didn't like.
Yeah. It's trash, and everybody's Clark. Shout out Clark.
Yeah, man. Shout out Clark.
Yeah.
Man.
But like once he said that, all the sneaker culture was like, Miz is trash, and I was like, I love Miz.
Which is crazy because we thought about him a lot when we were even making this space. Trying to be thoughtful about like, what's the Clark of it all. But
yes, this is like one thing that I always love and I always say and always inspired me, especially even with this podcast and everything like that. And within sneaker culture was like the one message I always got from him was like, you got to if you're going to be part of this, you got to push it forward. And this is what this is doing.
And even today, like getting these and being like, I'm gonna put them on.
Yeah.
Like you wear your shoes.
Yeah.
But when did I get down with sneaker culture? I mean, it was really then. Like that was when I was like, all right, I'm in it. And it was bad because then the next job I got was Foot Locker. Where I was walking by the mall. Anyone that's from my area already knows Triana Slack. Like she is, the name will mean nothing to you, but everything to people from my area.
Where are you from?
Central Jersey, Somerset.
Okay.
So like,
I've never been there.
She's like the one. She used to be at the Foot Locker right next to the high school.
Yeah.
And then later on, she worked at Bridgewater Mall, gave me my first job. I was walking down. I just quit McDonald's because they was giving me, they were like, we get raises. The raises could be maximum 25 cents. This is like back in like the $5, $5 minimum wage.
Yeah.
Nah, $5.
Yeah, $5?
Yeah, like ugly. And like crazy, right? Like illegal, like actually illegal, legal.
Yeah.
Like, and it was time to get a raise. And the scale's like literally a nickel, a dime, 50 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents. I'm killing it at McDonald's. They gave me 10 cents. I'm like, yo, I got two out of 5. Yeah, I went in there. I was like, yo, I'm fucking quitting. Fuck Eddie. And like to this day. And then I quit. I remember the manager called me. He's like, yo, man, I'll give you 25 cents. I was like, nah, I'm out.
Tell Ronald to keep the 25.
Yeah, man. Like, you smell like fries all the time and like respect. But, still an amazing time. And I'm walking through the mall and my boy had just gotten his license. And he was a couple months older than me. So I'm walking through the mall. I walk by and she comes up, she's like, yo, do you want to work here? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, cool, because he's about to get fired. And pointed to a guy on the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. I put in my application. I got the job before I could even drive. A couple months later, I got my license. I was in there. And T really put me on. She gave me the game. So I was a fan of sneakers. When I got Foot Locker, that's when they taught me about sneakers.
Right, yeah.
And when you ever worked in a sneaker store?
Nah.
Bro, when you're in there, it's bad because you will look at everything and start to convince yourself.
Yeah, when I worked at GameStop, that was me.
Yeah, you start being, that's cool because you got a discount.
Yeah.
You're around it all the time.
The check is going right back in.
Bro, it was bad because there was like a Bank of America down the block. And I remember going and being like, yo, I'm going to go in here. Or not, I think it was a Wachovia.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in here and one off my check and come right back to the mall. It was bad. Like, it was bad. But
it's so bad, bro. The cycle. Because then you're doing the mental gymnastics of like, yo, if
at that point, it's not a job, it's servitude.
Yeah.
Because you're just trading your time for objects, but it's the flyest job you can have, especially at that time. Also told me about culture. Like it was the only job where this era that rap music was played in a mall,
Right.
played in a store.
Right.
So it was a cool job to have. All the other, like we had a homie from Build-A-Bear to come kick it with us. We had people from Wendy's come kick it with us. You get all the discounts because you're wearing the stripes.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That was, and especially working within a mall, like you're doing that like
this little
conjugated,
ecosystem.
Yeah, you're like, yo, hook it up with this. I could get you, you know, I'll slide you, and then.
And it was cool, man. It's like I love the customer interfacing, and it really taught me about sneakers to the point of like the real game, like knowing SKUs and all that stuff, release dates.
Yeah.
Back then it was the game plan, so you get this little catalog telling you what would come out. Got hip to Nike Talk.
And from Foot Locker, like, did somebody pull up and tell you about it, or like did you?
People would just talk about it, and like, and the thing too is like people were really into it back then. So like, I think one of my managers put me on to it, so I was on there. That's how I got like the Altitude 13s, which are like hard to get. You got a guy in Staten Island get him. It was all through like Nike Talk. I was the only kid. That was the first time I was the only kid in school with the sneakers. I think I ended up getting 2 pairs somehow. But that was when I got hip to the sneaker game. The first time they took me out here, and we went to Clientele, we went to Supreme, we went to Dave's Quality Meats. We went to a couple shops.
You did the rounds. That used to be my rounds. I used to do that every day.
They showed me the game, and they took me around, and were like, I remember asking, like, why are the sneakers out here different? And they're like, it's New York. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? But it was like the same if you went up to Newark. Newark, back in the day, you could only get white forces 2 times a year. So it's crazy people don't, like, one, they did not. So it's crazy. You only get them 2 times a year. And they were not available in catalogs. You cannot buy them in East Bay. I remember when East Bay first started selling them. We were like mind blown. And you could get them in February, you can get them in August for whatever reason. So people would stock up and get extras. That's why like Jay and them, like they'd go over to like Tom, Dick, and Harry, Spicy Action, all those spots. They would go and get stuff, and they would stock up and get stuff off calendar. But Nike was kind of hip to how certain retailers work. Like, yo, in the hood, they want Air Forces. So that's when you get the like the Three Amigos in Baltimore. But in other, that's like the main story it's told. But in other regions, it was like blue jeans in Newark. So you could go and get like white and clear sole with the jewel. You can go and get the white and like, you know, yellow, white and orange. So they would have your classics, but they'd also sell white most of the year. Outside of that, it was black forces. And it was crazy because black used to be the new color when you talk to like the Jim Jones era. Black was like it came in white, and then they started doing black. So there's all these spin-offs of forces, but yeah, man, you get hip to like why sneakers are in different regions and starting to get really good at who has what. Then you fall into the SB era and you start getting hip to like the skate shops. So there's all these different chapters of
I was
sneakers.
Nike SB do or die. Like it was Nike SB and nothing.
I remember the kid who put me on. This kid, still cool with today, Pong Chow. Pong was a kid in my class who always had like crazy Jordans. And he told me about SBs. And he was like, yo, it's NJ Skate Shop has them. And we live in Somerset, so Brunswick's right here. And he was like, yo, you got to go in there and like find them. So it's so weird to say, but back then so many people would put you on. And the internet were websites. So stuff would exist, but you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know to look there, you won't find it. But yeah, man, I've been like,
it's funny because
I've been through the eras.
You're saying that too, and then like the one thing that I think people look back and be like, there's so much gatekeeping back then, and then but like when I think about it, I'm like, yo, if I was like on a line and I had a conversation with somebody like, yo, you got to go check out this shop too. It's
actually the opposite. People think it was gatekeeping. It was like, nah, things were just not as available. So someone would tell you, and people were friendly about it. Like some guy went and got us Jordan Altitude 13s because he was like, yeah, I got them. Here's the stores. You get on Nike Talk and they would tell you all the stores ahead of time. So I got the DMPs. It was Nike Talk. I'm like, guys were like, yo, Greenbrier Mall, Atlanta's gonna have them. We went there 2 days early. Some guy who worked in the foot action was like, yo, we doing a thing where we're going to sell you the gift card right now. And then you can come in. We don't want a crazy line. If you buy the gift card right now, you come in here and exchange your gift card and we'll give you the sneakers. And it was smart. They got a gift card sale out of it and they got a sale out of it. But it was like someone on the internet that I didn't know just told me about it. Or he put it online and you could go check if you knew. So, and gatekeeping is also like turned into a nasty word. I'm a proponent of gatekeeping.
Same.
Because with that comes context. If you talk to me, you ask me one question, I'm saying 7 different things. That's not gatekeeping, I'm giving you context, right? But if you were to just put a still image of this on the internet, what comes with it? It's just a JPEG. And gatekeeping means you have to do something with the information, whether I give you a story with it, I provide information, I tell you not here, there. And when people start to pull some of that back, that's the keeping part of it, is like, you're not doing the right things with it, you know? And yes, us as a community get to decide that you are not doing the right things with it. Yes, we get to vote, you know? And
I do think it's like, we do have to, in order to have standards, I mean, standards and practices, like every company has it.
And it should. I mean, yo, the park has standards and practices. Like there's fouls we don't call, there's fouls we do. You know, there's a rule about who has next. Like all these things have order to it. And when people, my example of how cultures die, I don't even know if I'm answering your original question. We just flowing.
No, it's all good.
My example of how cultures die is like, you ever been at a job where one person left and one person got hired? Y'all got a time you go to lunch, you got a certain kind of jokes you make.
Yeah.
There's even a quiet dress code at the job.
Right, yeah.
That person comes in, he peeps the game, and they kind of join your culture, but they bring you something new. They bring their persona, right?
Keeping.
Okay, jobs.
Standards
Okay, we got it. So I'm like, yo,
yeah,
so you got a
culture.
job, and someone leaves, or someone joins the company, they add something new to the job, right? But we have these instances where like, if you have 20 people you work with and 10 people quit, 10 people get hired, it's a new culture.
New culture, for
the
sure.
rules are gone, your habits are gone. The 10 people that are there are going to feel like, yo, man, we should have like, who's gatekeeping? Who's telling them how to deal this? Why is everyone lazy? Or why are they doing this differently? Or that's not where we put the papers. That's not how we ship the boxes.
Yeah.
So I think cultures now, it's not that a lot of people are leaving. We're losing our elders. We're losing people that are contributors to the space for various reasons. It's like a neighborhood being gentrified where you're like, oh man, we used to have block parties. Now we don't. So gatekeeping increases to be like, hey, new people, if you want to enter this culture or this space or this habit or this job or whatever it is, here's how we do things. It's important to keep our culture alive. And through that, we want to share it with you. But if your goal is to come in sneaker culture, whatever it is, and be like, nah, I'm gonna do it this way, start your own thing on the side.
For sure.
So I'm a proponent of the gatekeeping, but
I do think, and I mean, to segue into this space as well, where it's like, this is a lineage, to use the term that's on the wall, but like the lineage of like how things, especially within sneaker culture, has went, and how do you tell people how they should be continuously passing this on? Is you explain it this way, you know? Like this is, and the talks and the panels, like, you know, a lot of people, I mean, when I first started collecting, like, you know, a lot of OGs, I was talking to a lot of OGs, and like, you know, some of them wouldn't give me the time of day until you like prove yourself, or like they see, or my thing, or in New York, it was like, you have to make the lines. If you don't make the lines, then there's like, people don't know you. You
gotta,
know, like,
you can't skip steps. You got to do the rounds. I mean, I've been really fortunate. I'd say in the whole cultural space, I've been like, man, I've always had the favor of the OGs. And I think it's just because of like how I behave and how I act, you know, but I've been really fortunate. I mean, I could go off the list and be like, this person gave me the time of day, this person gave me this. I think a big part of it too is like showing up, doing the rounds, you know, and like the work you do when no one's around. Like every Saturday I would come and hit the top of Soho and just work my way down.
All the way down,
and go in the stores, no money, just look at stuff, you know, meet the sales clerks, move my way down. Some of these people end up becoming friends. I would always buy a magazine because I could afford a magazine. And then I'm walking out of the neighborhood with something to be into, and be in a conversation, And then when you start doing like I ran into Virgil. That's the first time I met Virgil was on the street. Tremaine was on the street.
Talk about the first time you met Virgil.
Oh man, I want to say it's 2012, but it could have been 2013. But at this point, I'm already like aware of who he is. Pyrex is out. Pyrex is like the first like expensive tee I bought that shouldn't have been that expensive. Like that first, like, this is a Champion t-shirt. But genius and beautiful. Right? I still have it. I have it.
You have to.
But V was walking down the street in Soho, and first I was like, oh shit, I think that's Virgil. And I was outside of my job. I worked at Mass Appeal at the time. So
I honestly didn't know you worked at Mass Appeal.
Oh yeah, I'm from the second era of Mass Appeal. There's the first OG era. And I was outside, we were kicking it, probably outside smoking and shit. And he walks by and I'm like, oh, that's Virgil. And I didn't say anything. And then we're back outside again because we're not really working. And he walks by again. And I'm like, and I forget some version of like, hey, what's up, man? Like, my name is Brandon, blah, 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 blah. Yo, I work at Mass Appeal Magazine. Yo, I'd love to come like get you a copy. Can you like stay right here? And he was like, I'll roll upstairs with you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking like, to me, he's like, this is a celebrity. And he's like, can I come upstairs? I'm like, yeah. So we're in the elevator. We're talking about it a little bit. We get inside the office. And I had this realization the other day, maybe like a month or so ago. And I was like, man, for a split second, Virgil and Sasha Jenkins were in the same room together. And it's like, just for this split second, these two geniuses, you know, like, yeah, man.
That's
anyways,
insane. I mean, yeah, like absolute legends.
Another one of my OGs. And V comes in there and we're showing the magazine. He's like really impressed. And later on, I would realize that he knew exactly what Masterpiece was, right? That he was a student of this in a way that I was becoming a student. Yeah. And I remember he took the copies. He asked for like he asked for magazines we just had in our waiting room. He asked for those, but then he bounced. And then, like years later, it'd be like messaging and stuff like that. And like just getting familiar and friendly with each other. And yeah, just a suit, like big help.
That is, did you ever think that he would, like, did you see like that he would become, you know?
No, I mean, no one could, because he was in uncharted territory. Like, sure, if someone could have guessed that he would have gotten a sneaker, no one could have guessed he was going to do this.
Right.
Nobody. So that's the other thing too, is like getting a chance to do things. And when you get the opportunity, like, yo, hit the left, you know? Like, how do you dribble with your left hand and hit them with something they haven't seen before? And I think he was fantastic at that. So there's no way I could have ever seen the stuff that he was going to do. Yeah. And also, it was still new. Like, it was happening fast in real time and like several things at once. So I learned so much from just like watching him and getting to do a few things with him. But yeah, man, like a genius.
I mean, it's well, first I want to know, like, because now I'm like, how did you figure out like this is what you wanted to do? How did you figure out, like, you know, not the space, but like, you know, your time in journalism, and did you go to school for, like, did you study?
No, I'm self-taught. No, I had a lot of OGs that put me on, but it's things you like. Yo, I remember telling some kid this a couple years ago, and like, it sounds really clear now because everything looks clear when you look back. Right. But I would just always try to be around things that I liked and spaces that I liked. And there was always a lot of pushback. So like, there'd be clubs in New York City back in the day, like the dress code clubs. I would be like, fuck this, I'm not going in here. It's just lame. Like, I'm not dressing like this. Like, what are you talking about? We're in New York City. Why can't I wear sneakers? Yeah. So a big part of it is like staying away from shit you don't like. Right, yeah. And when it's time to compromise, guys be like, you about to go all the way home? I'm like, yeah, it's lame. I'm not going here. Like, nah, and I'm never coming here again. Yeah. You know? So that limits your choices. So that's how you end up funneling down your options. But
so you're not a I'ma just do it for the story type of person?
I got a little bit of that in me, but no, I'm like a ferocious uncompromiser. Like, it's like bad, you know, like maybe you might not fuck with me because of it, you know, like, no, I mean, I have compromise in me, but yeah.
I like that though. I think that, because like, the one thing that I've been, I guess, battling with is like, I say yes to a lot of things.
Look, in the beginning you should.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like, but I do what you say. I'm like, it has to either feed a purpose in some way.
Career-wise, I used to tell people, be selfless so you could be selfish. Like, show up, be selectable, be a choice. Like, you can't get chosen if you're not present. But when you start knowing what you want, you have X amount of hours in a day, X amount of time. What you gonna do? Like, I knew I wanted to do this today, right? There's something I'm not doing instead of this. Yeah. That's the point, right? So it's like, and so are you and everyone else. Yeah. Like, people are making real choices. And when you get afforded choice, start using it so people see you make choices. Because if not, they'll pull you around. You asked a question before this, and I do a lot of this. I go,
you're good. I'm always gonna bring it back.
Yeah, it's like crippling ADHD. I found out.
I sit across a lot of people with ADHD. Yeah. I know.
I'm struggling. But
yeah, journalism, and like, how did it find you then?
So I went to school. I got a degree in advertising. You know, my first mentor, Dr. Hudson. When I made the Morehouse sneaker, I dedicated it to her.
I was gonna touch on that, because now to bring in my ADHD.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you dropped the video for that, and like your post, and I made an instant tweet about it, because I was like, dropping that was what is it? It's the model, the
Terminator.
Terminator, yeah. When you dropped that Terminator and honored, you know, your professor, like, you know, we don't get a lot of that. We don't get the like the full 360 of like, you had a moment of inspiration going to school, all black, you know, all black college, and then bringing that back to like, you know, you have a moment to really honor your past and the inspiration. And I was like, that is just amazing. Like I'm big on full circle moments. Like, this is a full circle moment for me, because I remember being in my job watching your videos in Complex. Yeah. And now I'm sitting next to you, fucking talking to you. So like,
trying not to bite on the small nuggets that you're giving me going all these paths, but no, honoring people is a big part of like, that's kind of my thing, you know. A lot of the work, if you really play it back, this room is like, a lot of it is like, it's putting the, like we talked about earlier, putting the credits on the top, you know, putting the ingredients on the top of it. It's process and transparency. Again, more Virgilisms, right?
Yeah.
But you asked me about how I knew what I wanted to do, and Dr. Hudson, I was struggling in school and like really bad in Morehouse. Like it was going to be like, oh, you might need to go type thing. And I wanted to do film, but Morehouse didn't have that program. Later on, I realized that I could have gone to Clark. I talked to Spike about it. He was like, why didn't you go over there? I'm like, I just didn't know nothing. And also I was breaking out of the line of like, you do what your parents tell you to do and what people applaud you for.
Right.
And I was struggling. I went to school for engineering initially, applied physics and computer science. And I'd been doing that every summer from like 8th grade on. I went to school all year round. I'd be in a summer program, just like,
damn.
I made a
like
phone MP3 player in like 2001, like on some nerd shit.
Wow.
Know? Yeah. Which is what this is too. This is nerd shit.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna be an engineer. Got to school and was like, this is terrible. Like his classes are whack. Everyone here's corny.
Yeah.
I'm good at this, but I don't like this. And I was like sad, like, you know, like wasn't even partying.
Yeah.
It's like the classic, like knock on the door. You coming out? And I'm like, nah. You know, I'm on YouTube YouTube had just started. And it was horrible. Yeah. And like, it was really bad. And someone was like, you should go talk to a dean or whatever. I talked to a dean. I ended up in marketing. Dr. Hudson, I just took off, like got it the way my brain works. She put her arm around me and was like, yo, like you were with me. She's the one who introduced me to Steve Stout. That's how I got to New York City. Like, so again, I've had the favor of the OGs early. Yeah. But when I got into New York City, I had the job of translation. It was an internship, so they didn't offer full time. I left, went to Erie, PA, worked for Nestle. I was selling pet food and lean cuisines in Walmarts in like
specifically,
literally in Western Ohio. And it was like crazy. Arguably the strongest weed you'll ever find is in Western Ohio. Like for real, it is. And got fired. I'm not even gonna tell you why, but I got fired. Came back home and was just on unemployment. Yeah. Pennsylvania unemployment is cracking. It's oh, you don't like it? Bro, PA unemployment, they was paying me like what I made. It was crazy, bro. It's cracking. Yeah. But also maybe arguably I wasn't making that much. So
yeah,
you know, like,
yeah,
they're like, yeah, we'll give you a check.
$450 a week. Yeah, here
we'll give you a check in full. And I was buying sneakers and coming to the city all the time. I'd be in like Santos, Sway, A-Life, like the beginnings of this, right?
Yeah.
And got a gig at a spot called Decon. Decon ended up buying Mass Appeal.
Right.
And then in came Sasha Jenkins. Sasha was there and he's the one who kind of like showed me how to write, put my first writing in print. The first people I wrote about, honestly, was Jeff Staple and Kimu Mayer, who's now creative director at Nike.
Yeah.
They showed me how to write. And then wild. The Mass Appeal guys, the prior generation Mass Appeal guys were the Complex guys then. So they'd come around, NCB, Noah, he came around and was like, yeah, man. Noah came around and was like, yo, I see you in all the rooms, you don't say much. You know, this is like my pre-talking era. This is when I was quiet all the time.
You were like, were you an observer or were you?
I'm an observer now.
You are, yeah, for sure.
I yap a lot, but I process quick. I'm observing now. Yeah. Like, I can tell you guys what you're gonna do tomorrow. You know, and he's like, but every time I ask about you, they say you get shit done, and that's what got me to Complex, and then that's what put me on camera. They were starting a new video program, and I was saying this to Joe. I was with Joe LaPuma last night, and I was saying this like. I was kind of intimidated because Complex was the height.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and, at the top.
And they had great writers at the time. And they had this new video program. Like you could write and do video. When they hired me, my job description was literally just make videos. They had nothing in there. There was no complex news editorial. We just knew we had to make videos. Then they linked me with the squad, Sean Stout, Cornell, Raph Moses, you know, Donnie Kwok, Brendan Fredericks, and like we all came with the complex news concept.
Yeah.
And that's what it became. And I did it because I'm like, they got the great writers over here.
Yeah.
If I do this, a B+ is like an A+, because there's no standard.
Yeah.
But then we started making A+. And that's when we've got Emily, Sean, Speedy, Pierce, like, yo.
That crop. Yeah, you're part of the legendary, like,
yeah, we
broke
built
the mold
that,
on that.
And,
yeah.
like, in
that's what people are trying to replicate now to this day.
Really?
You know that, right?
Are they?
I would say, yeah, you, like, that your core group of that, like, yeah, everybody in that group everybody's trying to replicate that, like, man on the street type of, like,
it's crowded now, and that's when gatekeeping also kind of needs to be a thing. And not that, like, I'm glad when people can have their voice and do a thing, but I see it we were talking about earlier, I see it in sneaker culture where, like, brother, you're lying. Like, you made that up. You know, you heard about that thing. You understand it now. Like, you know, you're lying, bro. That's not really what this is.
Yeah.
And even the creators that out there and make their stuff, all due respect, but like, you're waiting for reported information before you do your thing. We're reporters, dog.
You even bring this back to your story post when I messaged you, and I was like, it's crazy how all you need is a massive following in order to be considered like the truth sayer of what's going on.
Or you amass a following to be considered that. And you do that, you could amass a following with the lies, and then people assume you have the truth. And that's nuts. Like, it's nuts.
To be honest, and like I watched a video on grifting.
Grifting?
Grifting.
There's a video on grifting?
It's actually a video on the C word. You can't say that on YouTube.
I don't know what that is, and I'm all right.
You know? Yeah. So basically, you grift. There's a form of grifting where you grift against the community that you come from.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But so like
sellouts.
Yeah. But like you do that, if you do that in sneaker culture, it's interesting because the sellout version of that is like you're following the algorithm to sell a preview of a sneaker.
Yeah.
And you're adding all this extra context of that doesn't really
lies.
Yeah.
One, the way you know the grifters is if you spot one, they all click together. Yeah. And they all, even if they never met each other, they all on the internet, because it's part of the game. Like I comment you up, fire emoji you up so we can all rise together. Yeah. Because we need each other, right? Like, if one of these pieces fall and people start seeing the truth, like, what do I do? Right. There's a lot of grifters, bro. Like, this won't be that episode that
for sure.
I let off shots with.
But I also think it's just like so I think me and you are kind of like the same when it comes to that stuff where it's like, let's fire each other up. I've never been that person to reach out and be like, yo, repost this for me. Like,
oh yeah. But even it's that, man, or the grifters, man, they're good at like, it's a social tool where they can spot, they're good at reading the room. Right. They just don't have any skills. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's it. Like they like, we can all be in a room, like, we know what to do. They're in the room like, where's the opportunity? Yeah. And
who do I get to? Who's going to get me on the next rung up on this ladder that I'm trying
to man. And I'd say, even when we did the Nike sneaker showcase, it was an attempt to like, they have their own business KPIs and desirables for why this needs to work. Right. They want to get ahead of the leaks. Yeah. For me, it's like, I said yes to the project because one, I love the solution. Two, it was like the truth. Yeah. So we're going to come here and show you everything that's going to come out in the next year. Yeah. And everyone else that says anything, it's not true. Right. And it's important. And the other part too is because these other guys, they're showing you the sneaker, but really they're trying to sell you socks. Yeah. You're like, all right, bro. Or they're trying to amass a following because they need money. Mm-hmm. I'm like,
more following, more meta paychecks or whatever. Bro, Twitter, Elon bucks,
Yeah, dog. Yeah, spending Elon checks. That's crazy. You're like thinking about like the Toys R Us Jeffrey dollars, but with like Elon's face. Yeah, like, just it's like ketamine. Like, but yeah, man, like like even that is like we're watching this, and it's the age of the grift, right? And like.
100%.
It exists in every space.
Yeah. I also struggle with that, and I've said this like in passing or in any conversation anybody ever has with me is like I'm so afraid of people to look at what I'm doing and be like, oh yeah, he's trying to just get money out of this. And
well, one, if you have a skill and you're good at it, you should be compensated. But if you're good at it, it should be serviceable. Even entertainment, making people laugh is a service, right? Like the fries at McDonald's is a service. You should be compensated. It's the guy who's at McDonald's with his arms crossed. He ain't doing nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? He should not be getting a check. And I think that fear you have, hope it doesn't result in insecurity. No. But what it should do is that should keep your mind healthy. Yeah. Like, you should be checking in. Is this good or bad? Right. Am I good or bad today? Yeah. And we're all people, so we're all available to be good or bad. At times, the same thing. Mm-hmm. I could be saying something here I feel confident about. It lands in the comment section, and someone's like, "Yo, that really hurt my feelings," or that made me feel away. and I can reconsider it then.
Yeah.
But when
We're in the age where
grift,
nobody's reconsidering shit, though.
no, I mean the moral compass is like, you know, spinning out of control. I don't blame young kids because they see what we present them.
Right, yeah.
But you know, it's why like the other part too, when we talk about gatekeeping, this ties into it. Gatekeeping is not continuously hoarding your area because it's so small and making sure no one else can get in because it shrinks and it shrinks and it shrinks.
Yeah.
The new thing is like, yeah, you got to contribute.
Right.
Because you can get mad at dude over here who's lying or doing the whack shit or it's fake or, you know, his products break before you get them. You know, like the paint's going to rub off, all the cheapness.
Yeah, yeah.
So you put your effort in. He might show up 10 times a year, but you show up one and it's cracking, they now have a choice.
Yeah.
So part of gatekeeping is presenting choice to people and letting them choose. So it's easy to rest on yesterday's wins. It's easy to look around and be like, all right, like, here's when it was good.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do now?
Yeah.
And you got to click up too with other people that are really doing it,
right,
and support each other and do all the right things, because if not, the gatekeepers win. Because one thing they do have, they have a hunger.
Yeah.
Another thing they have is they don't have to take time to get things right. So they're going to beat you in volume every time.
Every time.
People that respond to a video that they made, that makes a snake eating its tail, and at the end they didn't say anything, but they talk out both sides of their face, and you're like, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you know, I'm not with the grift, and I think like journalism, creation is anti-grift. You know, so you don't have to get on a platform and say you don't like it. You can just make things, and by effort, you are counteracting everyone else who's just filling the room up. You know.
Yeah. You touched on the Nike showcase, and I loved it. I thought like when you did the two, like it was like you did two of them, but it was like,
I did. I'm on like 4 or 5. Maybe.
Four. Then I missed a couple then, because what I really loved was that like your intention with it too, of just like, yo, here's everything about, you know, this is coming out, and then you like touch on notes and stuff like that.
I mean, that's really Nike too. It's Nike doing it, but it's cool, man. It's cool to like have that be like my rep, where they're like, yo, we want someone who like the truth is associated with I've never said this, and I feel weird about saying it. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
Say it.
Like, the truth is, I was talking to Carl Cherry, he runs Rap Caviar on Spotify. He was like, yo, I was complaining about someone I thought was grifting, you know, and he was like, yo, your gimmick is that you have no gimmick. And I was like, man, I love that. And I built that over time, and that's not easy. Like you say, it's a lot of no's, not because I'm bigger than it. It's to know to protect myself and protect the people that watch me or whatever it is. Usually the no's is like there's some coins in it that you're like, I could use that.
Right.
You know, you put yourself in dire circumstances, like if you're a real person that's to take care of things. But yeah, man, so when Nike called me for that, I took it as a reflection of the practice I had built over years of like being observant, listening, patient, and liking things, right? Being a fan of things. So when they hit me for that, I was like, it's a yes. And it's crazy, bro, to get to see that stuff early. But that was their initiative. But they were like, you're the right person to do it. And then they let me riff. They let me like go off, so I'm not just reading a script. But yeah, man, it's one of the
interesting.
One of the better things I've worked on.
Your gimmick is you have no gimmick.
Yeah, now it's weird to say that now, because then it's like, is that before I sell you guys like, you know, CMOS or like, you know, what do you call it? You know, whatever people
cucumbers. You gonna start rapping about cucumbers?
What is the new grip? What are people selling these days? Right? Marketing classes.
Yeah, marketing classes. Yeah.
Everything turmeric.
Yeah, turmeric's crap. But look, for the record, turmeric is good, and sea moss are extremely beneficial.
Yeah.
But you know, like, where are you getting yours from, bro? So like, it's that, you know. But yeah, the marketing guys who are now like taking someone's really like their hard work, like months of hard work, and be like, this is why this works. And you're like, guys, come on, like, you know, and like you don't.
I go on way too many rants about
and
that.
And like you don't even know why it works.
Yeah.
Like you know, so
like it's funny because like so when it comes to this and like getting this in front of people, everybody gives me so much advice, and I'll be like,
oh, this show?
Yeah. Like everybody's like always be like, you gotta use the right captions. You're not promoting it correctly. I'm like,
here's the thing. Some of it is valuable, and I think it's great advice can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But they always like that's the thing that's going to turn it.
It's always like this. It's always such a you're just missing this one thing, and I'm like, you don't think I've done this? Like you don't.
You don't think I've done the laps. The other part too is like, how much of it are you going to? You know, there are real mechanisms at work, and I think today more than ever there is less room for adventure and side chats. But I also think man, doing something different than other people, you know? And I think that shows a level of adventurousness, bravery, optimism, you know, that you believe other people will believe in it.
Yeah.
And even making deep cuts, I was talking to my mom about it. And it's very easy to get pessimistic about a thing you've been trying to make for like a decade and trying to show up every day and get people to see it. Or how many times I went to a pitch meeting and someone's reverse pitching me on their thing. And I'm like, what about my thing? I can't, you invited me here for this. But the fact that I keep trying is signs I'm an optimist, you know? And I think looking for optimism in people's work, again, going back to Virgil, I remember we were messaging about a thing that had happened, and his response was crazy to me. He was like, but he's like, I'm a serial optimist. Like, so like, this is just a challenge to me. And I watched how he flipped it like 2 months later, and I was like, damn. So optimism is like a superpower.
For sure. The turning no's into yes, or like hope, like my thing is, and this is why I'm going to always keep doing this podcast, is because I'm afraid of like, I stop and I'm right at the door. Like I'm about to open it. I'm about to break through, right? And I think always having the fear that turns into optimism of like, I'm gonna just keep going because eventually this is gonna work.
Yeah, or I think about yo, you out trying to meet somebody, and like if you don't go to the club that night, maybe you don't see her, right? And like misconnections, you know. And so you keep showing up. Or how many times Deep Cuts has been again a presentation deck and losing steam or running out of cash to do it, or you know, morale. And you know, like I remember we got the dummy copies of that printed up, and I showed someone, they were like, yo, I get it. And how that starts a journey, you know, like of just showing people stuff. And then to get pulled in here and it's Nike being like, yo, cool. And I'm like, my boys told me like, yo, it's like the swoosh and the Deep Cuts right there.
Right there.
And this isn't even our real launch. This is like our soft launch, and to be able to jump out the world the first time into this, but it's because you stay the course, which is always my advice too. Like number one advice, stay the course.
Stay the course.
You cannot get chosen unless you're present.
Yes.
So you got to make yourself a selectable option. Someone can choose you, and you know, someone's going to get it one day. And I've been fortunate to run into a lot of people that get it, you know? So,
I mean, because this breeds culture. Like, this is, like, Deep Cuts breeds culture. Like, this is something that it feels present, and it feels like, it feels present and history at the same time. Like,
I don't want to get too crazy down into, like, the sort of, like, kaleidoscopic thinking, but it is how I think. It's what made me, it's what brings me towards certain type of people where I'm like, oh man, you think the same way too. Like it's one idea that intersects a lot of different points and they run in a lot of different directions. So yeah, I believe in that, like that it's the past and present and future and all that shit. I don't want to get too crazy into it, but it's hard to explain, you know, but yeah.
No, I think because, well, this is like, it's physical. Like it's something that this is like Deep Cuts is something you connect with.
Yeah,
right. Like
that's what we're searching for is connection, you know.
And you know, that's what we've been missing. Like 2020 took us all out of being connected, you know. So,
and instead it gave us, you know, gave us the grift, it gave us gimmicks. So yeah, trying to show up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked this question the other day on Twitter, and I'm gonna ask you this question because honestly, I was testing it out.
It says B Dot not liking Jordan's pass. 13?
No.
Shout out B Dot.
Shout out B Dot. But I asked this question where it was like, if we think of sneakers colorways as like classic albums, right? What would be your top 5? Like, I'm talking about like stands the test of time, like classics.
Classics?
Yeah.
And we're talking about just sneakers, not like boots or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, yo.
And it has to be colorway and model.
I mean, obviously white forces.
Yeah.
And I will group mid and low together, just white forces. That is like, it's classic. Like, I don't have an album I would equate it to, but like, it is classic. Trends will have them come and go, but for me, it's the shoe I probably bought the most and had the most in my life. It just does so much.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it transcends. Like we're gonna see
it's like
white girls with them. We're gonna see
dirty,
grandmas
clean.
with them. Yeah,
the way people now customizing them. I remember this cat Leonard had a pair. when I was in high school. And this is like the beginning of like the Gucci print era. Like he cut Gucci print.
I wanted to jump in on so bad.
I remember we saw Jadakiss with him and he put them on and he wore them to prom. I remember he had like a Gucci print vest that he had made. I never even knew Leonard. I just thought it was fly. I still remember that. I couldn't tell you what I did yesterday, but I remember that.
Just wake up thinking about Leonard.
Yeah, shout out Leonard, man.
Shout out Leonard.
He's good. White Forces for sure. I'd say, I mean, we're getting to Jordans. You get into real. They could eat that the rest of these 4 up. I'd say Jordan 4s, 1000%. Jordan 4s.
Like
I'd say
cements.
Yeah, black red cement, like black red bread. Those are just like I could just keep running through those like crazy, just classic. Man,
Black cement 3s.
they are, but is this really just my favorites, or is this?
No,
like
I'm talking about like, you know, like, so this came from like, you know, for example, be like, you know, Reasonable Doubt. I'm not a big Jay-Z fan, so like
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a Nas fan. I'm a Nas fan.
All right, just taking the temperature of the room. Like,
Yeah.
You guys fuck with this? All right.
I said I'm not a big. I didn't say he's whack.
Yeah.
You know, but
fair.
you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
But
That's crazy. Wow.
You still have to be like, Reasonable Doubt is a classic album. I would have to
1000%. Yeah.
Or like the same, you know, Illmatic.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan, but this is classic.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, there's like,
So I agree, white on whites, because you'll see that.
if you go into classics, then it's white on whites, it's Jordan 1s, it is Jordan 3s, it is Jordan 4s. That's 4 right there.
Yeah.
I'd say.
But I'm saying colorway too. Like you
Okay,
got
then,
to. I'm being. We slim.
Yeah.
it
Then
down.
it's like now we're into like we're into.
So
I would say black and red Jordan 1s. I would say black and red. I'd say black and red Jordan 4s. I would say white cement Jordan 3s, white on white forces. What's my 5th? These are the classics. Like again, these are not all my favorites.
Yeah.
It's my 5th.
Yeah,
I mean, like, if we're talking also just numbers alone, like you could throw a Chuck Taylor in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen
like
a lot
70s,
of Chuck Taylor. So when I asked the question, I was getting white on
Cons.
whites. Yeah.
Yeah.
White on whites, Chucks, black cement 3s. Like somebody tweeted out and said black cement 3s for all 5, and I was just like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, it's like I don't even say I drift towards all those models, but like, but yeah, I get the classic talk.
But what
for sure.
was surprising is I got a couple foams. People were like, Royal Foams.
You could easily put those in there for sure. You could throw Royal Foams.
The only thing is that
but I'm also like, to me, is that like there's levels of classic, and like my classic is after the OG classics, right? Like if you would ask someone like a Clark, you know what I mean? Like they might say something different.
Yeah.
It's funny. It was with Spike like a couple months ago, and he always says cons. I said he's like cons because that's his era. They call it cons. It's like my pop's era. So you know, like I get that. You could throw foams in there for sure, Royal Foams,
but I don't think it's, and I mean
that's a different level of classic.
Yeah.
So if I get even away from like the top in the Wikipedia,
because somebody's like, oh, linen Air Force Ones, and I was just like,
nah.
I would if you put out a linen Air Force One as much as you did a white on white, I don't think we would see, you know.
You wouldn't see a linen Air Force One right now, but like also that like durability, like Royal Foams can come out any time of the year and they're gonna crack.
Yeah.
3s can come out any time of the year, they're gonna crack.
Oh yeah, for sure.
4s any time of the year crack. Forces any time of year they're gonna crack. And I would even argue that sometimes Jordan 1s should, but maybe not as much now. But I think they're classics and they should go. That's always a tough conversation, and like it's like to me when you try to do favorite rappers, like there's people like, if you name Big and Pac, you lost 2 spots.
Yeah.
Like they're already up there, you know, like. And I'm more interested sometimes in like who people like that think is like their best. Like you talk to like guys like, oh, he's gonna say Grand Poobah, right? Like he's gonna tell you who was getting fly first. So yeah, it's not my favorites necessarily, but I like them all.
But that's why I like asking the question classics, because it's more of just like, to me, it's like a universal thing.
I have stuff. I'm more too. I'm also in an era now where with even like apparel, I'm trying to like, here's my classics, and I will dip off and have a side mission. But like, it's always going to be like Nikes, Timberlands, New Era, North Face, like, and there's new things that pop up. Everyone's on the Arc'teryx wave. Cool. I'm going to double down on the Timberland, the ACG, like, and then I will jump out and do other things. But I'm also like, I've been through so many eras and trends that I'm like happy to like, kind of build what I think is my circle, and then have like build my album and have like a guest feature here, you know, a mixtape song here. So I'm kind of locking in more and more into things. I'm like, this is it, and I can keep this for 20 years.
But that, I mean, that I've talked about this a lot. We lose an individuality, and then when people like, when you're like, you're being intentional of what you're doing, like. Now we're in this world of like everybody's dressing for TikTok and
I've tried that. Like I've tried to like I was just overdressing and being like, yo, I can't do like it feels nuts to do that and then go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it feels nuts to do that and then like it really only works if you're taking a photo. And you're like, well, what are we doing here? Like why are we all dressing like we're in a Hype Williams video? Like it's fly, but like and you see it where it's like and then it just looks crazy. Like to each their own,
right?
But
sure.
I think having range in it and being able to have those statement pieces and get fly. But we also have to have a point where like it's the guy in like the old Stussy knit shirt and some jeans and like some beat up sneakers. He's part of this too, right? And like having room for that, not just being like we're all gonna be dressed like, we're going to like the Grammys every night. Like,
I mean, then you get crucified like Wale.
In which way?
Because they were like, oh, people over 40 shouldn't dress like Wale.
What
you didn't see that?
Nah.
It went viral. Like some guy was like, oh,
I love Wale.
I love Wale. But like somebody was like, if you're over 40, you can't dress like Wale.
Is it that he's dressed in streetwear?
Yeah.
I made in my mind. I'm doing this. I told someone the other night about this. Yeah. I'm doing this forever.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like culture. Like I'm doing this forever. Like there's not everything I'm always up on, but I will be supportive of someone else who's up on something, right? It goes back to the same thing of like putting people on and putting things in the mix, anti-grift, all that's the same theory. So I get people say no, but like, when you see the old lady who's wearing like the trench coat and like the bonnet and everything, go look at photos. That's what she was wearing at 20, at 30. She just never, people dress how they feel when they were at their coolest and they never switch out.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like when you see like, like my pop's generation, like they're going to Bluetooth it up. They're going to Kangle it up. They're going to do all that and it's fly.
Yeah.
So much so that we're watching people now resurface that as a vibe or an aesthetic. And so our generation is just going to go through this. Like we're going to be wearing sneakers and listening to rap music and versions of it forever. You can do different things for sure. But when people feel like they got to mature away from it, I'm like, yo, you can just follow it along. Like it's okay. But I think people, they don't know what to pick, and that's fine too, But
it's just like
I'm gonna be in this forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like this is part of me. Like I'm not gonna be like, all right, now I'm over it. Like
and I think you have to go down every tree branch for sure. But like, man, I'm in this.
I do find it like I find it frustrating or like.
And shout out Wale, bro.
Yeah, shout out Wale.
The way he's been doing the GT Future, you saw the pink ones?
Yes.
Stupid.
So that was the picture. So he posted a picture of him wearing that, and somebody reposted it and was like, you can't be dressing like that at 40.
Did we go? 40. Also, by the way, did we go to that person's gram? Are they shutting it down?
I don't...
Yeah.
I left it there.
What we're hearing there is like,
I was like, I don't care about your opinion. Like,
and you're, but all due respect, you're allowed to have one. But
we are also allowed to be like,
that stinks. We don't like it. Yeah. Silly.
So
silly.
Shit, I was gonna go off on something else, but now since we're towards the end of the podcast, I do want to ask another question. It deals with a little visualization. I want you to think back to young Jinx, right? He sees, what was the kid's name with the griffies?
Oh, Des Bradley, my guy.
Yeah, so he sees young Des as also with the griffies, but now you're older you behind your younger self. What would you tell young Jinx? Like, well, he didn't get the shoes, but usually I say as he opens that box, but you got the shoes later on, so.
I'm stuck. Which part in the future are we? I'm like, wait, what? Like, what I tell young Jinx?
Because usually, so this is why I fumbled it. Because like usually I tell the guests to think back to when they were about to open the box with the shoes in it.
But I didn't get the shoes.
You didn't get the shoes.
Yeah.
So now, the inspired young Jinx, like you're behind him.
Yeah.
What would you tell him?
Probably nothing on the real, man. Yeah. For real. I know it's a terrible answer, but like. I was fine without it, I knew I liked it though, and I'm really happy that. I tell them is like, it's just like, it's not gonna be a proper sentence, but like keep liking things. Like
Yeah.
that woke something up and I liked it. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
stayed with it. A lot of stuff I'm doing now is stuff that I was doing kind of when I was younger,
Mhm.
or when you play it back, like, oh, I was always on that. Or people remind you of conversations you had, and you're like, oh wow, that really came true. I was just saying a thing. I don't even remember saying it. So less about having things, more about like, yo, whatever this thing is that made you like super attracted to this, and you thought about it every day.
Yeah.
You didn't own it, but you like started paying attention. Keep that alive, because that thing is like my whole everything is the product of liking things and like pursuing them,
Mhm.
and being really clear about what I don't like and really clear about what I do like.
Yeah.
And like it has I've had no calls, I've had calls in other directions, but it's answering the call or making the call about the thing you like.
Yeah.
That has like, it has served me. So I said I'm a ferocious uncompromiser.
Yeah.
Not totally true, but I'm lasered in on my shit. You know, like I'm like that. You know, so it would have been. I need a sharper one. My hands they're moisturized.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like I needed. It's that.
Yeah.
So whatever that thing is, like, because it gets tested as you go along.
Mhm,
Whatever it is, it survived in me all these years, and now it's like, it's working out. So
I mean, I think I always call it like the curiosity gene.
yeah, curiosity. I would tell everybody. That's why I tell kids to read.
Yeah.
Like watching shit does not. It makes you a little curious, but reading makes you curious. It works your imagination. You're a part of it. You're doing a lot at once. Curiosity has. It's my a couple skills: curiosity and like sensitivity. Two my greatest skills.
Yeah.
To be able to want to go in that room and get in the room and be sensitive to what's happening has been like, it makes a difference. And I'll be in rooms with people who are in the same room, but they're not using those things.
Yeah.
And it's different results. So I've been extremely, extremely fortunate. And the other thing about curiosity is people who have things to offer respond really well to you when you're curious. They're like, they see it.
Yeah.
So like if you look like you're bright-eyed and you have questions, they'll rock with you.
Mhm.
That's how I think I got a lot of OGs to that's how a lot of them found me. It was like, you ask a question.
Right.
You know?
That's you got to pour in. People want people to pour in back in.
Yeah.
Or like pour out. Like the thing that will always continues to fuel people that are, progressing is that curiosity of like being able to ask a question. Because I think when you're too intimidated to be like, hey, how do I get to here? Or like, what are your thoughts on this? Or like, like.
I'd also say though too, curiosity shouldn't just stop at asking questions. You gotta be working like your own. You gotta be like
super observant.
You gotta be observant, because like nothing's harder than the kid who's like, Jinx, how do I do what you do? I'm like, the thing I do is done.
Yeah.
It's already on its way out.
Yeah.
You need skills, attributes, traits to go do what you do.
Mhm.
And to have me redo my life story and like a quick blurb on the street doesn't do anything.
Nah, yeah.
Like you need traits more than you need like a
That's
tail.
Why, that's why I always flip the question back. I just when people be like, yo, how do you start a podcast and stuff like that? I go, well, what do you want to talk about?
And like, just start. You just got to start. So curiosity has to just be like, questions is great, but it can't be on everyone else to answer. Like you got to find your way. But it's powerful, man. Like it's powerful. It's I'd argue one of the most powerful traits you could have is to care.
Yeah.
Those are they all dance together.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where to find you.
Brandon Jinx, Deepcuts Projects more so these days.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Follow the page. Follow Deepcuts. That
I was want to say some flashy, like, man, you know where to find me, but that's where I'm at. And
do your old sign off.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is anymore. But yeah, man. Thank you for this, bro.
No, thank you for this. To find me, Who is Hostile on social medias. Follow the podcast, My First Kicks Pod. If you want to write in so I can read a My First Kick story to a guest, info@myfirstkicks.com. Hit the patreon.com/myfirstkicks. We're gonna slice in some a little walk around of the space.
Yeah.
But the full walk around with the talk will be on Patreon. You gotta sign up for that. So yeah, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Jinx because, man, like I said at the end of this, full circle moment. It is a huge honor to be able to introduce one of my favorite interviewers. I just remember being at my job watching Jinx, do his on the street interviews and also like that whole crew, very inspirational. And look at what they've been able to grow out and do. It's such a huge honor. I also got to do a quick shout out to JD by Domino on Instagram. He filmed all of this. He took all the pictures that you see. Huge help. And also shout out to D. D was in the building, making sure people don't come in front of the cameras, and he was a huge help as well. So make sure you check out D and Oxymorons whenever they're in town. Follow them, hit them up, hit up, JD, and tell him how much you loved his work, manning the cameras and lighting the place. Like, he really made us look really good. But big shout out to Jinx and Nike for letting me record an episode in that space. I know in the episode I said I was going to put kind of like a B-roll of a walkthrough of the space. Now, I don't have the footage currently. I'm waiting on that to come in. So, but this episode has to come out today, on Friday. So that will be coming in a separate clip. It might just be only an Instagram post that announces the full video, which is me and Jinx actually going through the cultural space that he created, and where he's telling me about each single piece that's on the wall. And so that's going to live on Patreon. So don't skip out and skip this. Or if you're seeing this in the future, please make sure you sign up for the patreon.com/myfirstkicks. All that money goes right back into the podcast. As you know, I fund this myself. So this is such a huge, just like a monumental moment for me. Jinx hit me up as he was creating the space, and he talked about it in the episode, and he had me in mind to kind of just like talk about his journey with Deepcuts Project and how his relationship with Nike came to be. And it's just super dope that like I was able to have this conversation, because I never thought, like, and I say it in the episode, I never thought in my wildest imaginations that I would be the person, interviewing him, or just even talking to him. And the universe is crazy. I don't like I literally in the back of the recesses of my mind, I do have a kind of like this, like, I must interview these people list, because one, they were inspirational in my life, and two, they kind of, paved the way within this, or within something I love and enjoy. And to me, like, seeing Jinx on sneakers, seeing Jinx on his complex day, and like seeing his work within, his music podcast, and just like bumping into him at shows that I like, rappers that I really enjoy, which I always feel like it's such a small, niche, or like, I'm always looking for the artist that like nobody's really hearing about right now, but if and they're talented, that's me. I'm always there. I'm not gonna be, trying to be like only listening to anybody that's like hot right now. I'm always looking for newer people. That's why you see Life of Tom on here, or Fergie Baby, who's blowing up right now. I'm that person that will always look for either what's next, or something that like I feel like I need to dig for, right? So, before this episode, me and Jinx talked about Bruiser Wolf. We talked about Billy Woods, and we in the video with the walkthrough we talk about Mavi. These are a lot of rappers and Mike, and like, these are a lot of rappers that I find insanely talented. So, when I used to do essentials, I always make sure it's like music that people aren't really finding these days, right? It's crazy to have like Coda and Marlon Craft on there, and then eventually have Coda on the podcast. Like, I'm a big music head, so like, please, maybe I might bring back essentials. But all this rambling to say, this journey has been crazy. And being able to interview Jinx has been I never thought this would happen. So I hope everybody found this extremely insightful. We touched on journalism. We touched on gatekeeping. Like, I wanted to stay away from, stuff that I feel like he's definitely talked about. And I really wanted to hone in on the space and how we interact with culture and how can we bring this to what we feel, how we bring this into life that we feel is missing. And, I feel like my work is within this podcast and interviewing interesting people, and doing my own research and doing my work. And I, as Deontay says, doing the knowledge. So I always implore you, if you're just getting into sneakers, if you just found this podcast, if you're in the future, or you just tune in this week, please do the knowledge, and please shout out to Sean Williams and D Wells, but please take care of our culture, because this is something that we cherish extremely, like, highest degree. We cherish this to the fullest potential. So let's jump into Patreon shout outs. Let's do Patreon shout outs. Please don't forget, you can sign up to see the walkthrough that me and Jinx do of the space on Patreon. So patreon.com/myfirstkicks. Let's start it off. We got Ross Adams, we got Adam Newstetter, we got Plox, we got Jordan Kaiser, we got Adam Butler, we got Derek Hawkins, we have Derek Lipkin, we have Samia Grand, we have Sean Hates You, and we have a new subscriber this month. Shout out Brett. Thank you so much for joining. I don't have a name for the My First Kicks listeners, and if you all want to, if you all want to name yourselves, please leave a comment with the name y'all suggest y'all would call yourselves. But I appreciate every one of y'all for tuning in, checking out, signing up for the Patreon as well. If you want to check out more of this podcast, please check out these 2 episodes here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And of course, what we say each week: wear your kicks. Peace.